The O4 Ravager, my new spaceship designed for destruction and utility. A compact build with everything you need for any space adventures in Starfield, as it contains all the essential habs for maximum crew size, every station for modding your gear and crafting, a bed for that precious XP boost, and sufficient cargo for space piracy. With an extremely high mobility and deadly weapon systems, it absolutely obliterates anything in its path. In today's video, I'll show you how to build this beauty from scratch, have your own small and deadly vessel to conquer space, so let's get right to it. Before we get started, I've easily spent over 20 hours of designing and optimizing to maximize the performance of this build while maintaining a sleek, minimal look. If you enjoy my content, it would mean the world to me if you could take 1 second of your time to leave a like and share your thoughts about it in the comments down below. Already very much appreciated. So let's start with a little spaceship tour, as I can't wait to show you guys all the tricks it has up its sleeve. It's a small design while it has a lot of stuff inside. So this is where you enter the spaceship. This will instantly bring you very close to the cockpit, while you will have very quick access to all the different habs. So if we move forward for a second, this is where you will find your crew stations, a very nice Stroud-Eklund cockpit with plenty of cargo space, while of course if we get to the center of the spaceship, this is where you can get back to the world. On the right side, we have 2 crafting wings. So the first one right here is our workshop. The weapon and spacesuit workbench are right next to each other, so modding gear is going to be very easy, as well as the industrial workbench to get your hands on those parts. I think the Hope Tech quarters are by far the most beautiful and efficient in terms of layout to get the most out of your spaceship designs, while right here we also have our science lab with, of course, that pharmaceutical hab and the research lab. On the sides of our spaceship, we also have 2 beautiful windows, so we don't get too claustrophobic. Going back to the center of the spaceship, on the other side, we have a symmetrical layout for a control station for maximum crew size, which includes a docking bay, so you can access spaceports, while right here we also have our little bed, a all-in berth with additional crew size member slots, so basically everything you need for any space adventures. So yeah, a quick summary: a super efficient layout with all the habs you need, very quick access to both the cockpit and docking stations without having to use any staircases, and honestly I think this compact design with a Hope Tech interior looks beautiful from the outside. So this is how we enter the spaceship, while with the docking port right next to it, we can board enemy vessels or access spaceports. Sometimes this spaceship also gives me some TIE fighter vibes, while it's definitely a one-of-a-kind. So yeah, let's get building. I quickly want to say that this spaceship also comes with some requirements. Even though you can probably build it on a fairly low level, the higher your character level, the more efficient the spaceports will become, the higher your mobility, damage, etc. If you want to have the best spaceships in the game, it's very much recommended to have a piloting of rank 4, so you have the ability to pilot Class C spaceships, for which I already have a super efficient guide in the top right of the screen. Trust me, you can get this in only minutes, while you also want to focus on leveling up your starship design to rank 4 as quick as possible. Again, a quick guide in the top right of the screen, which allows you to get access to the best spaceship upgrades in the game. If you want to build my previous spaceship, by the way, the O4 Vengeance, a guide can be found in the top right of the screen as well, one which already received a lot of love from you guys. Thank you. Well, today we're going to move on to the O4 Ravager with slightly more hull, shielded cargo, and amazing weapon systems. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I've never torn this spaceship apart and rebuilt it, so this is gonna be a first timer for me as well. Alright, so here we have it, all the pieces separated. The first thing you want to do is take out a 1 or 2x1 piece randomly, doesn't matter what it is, but this is basically to snap your landing gear. The AccuLander 11 of Stroud-Eklund, we're gonna place this on both sides. Get rid of this, and you could also take, for example, a 2x1 right now to place it right in front, as now we're going to place 2 more landing gears exactly like so. Switch to the other side and do the same thing. So right now we have all the landing gear in place exactly like so. I'm going to take out a 2x1 hab one more time to place it exactly in the middle. Put a companionway 1x1 right on top of that, and then get rid of this. take your Viking CP100 cockpit and place that in front of that. So right now you basically have your hoped for landing bay, which you can place right underneath it. New Atlantis doesn't come with one of these landing bays. You want to visit the Red Mile for this one. Right next to the hoped for landing bay, you also want to place your Deimos bottom docker. You can also flip this one for top, well, you're going to need the bottom variant. And on the other side, you want to place a Galleon S204 cargo hold. This is the highest cargo space in the game per piece, 1480. It's very important to have the docker on the left side and the cargo space on the right, as now we're going to place the habs on specific locations. So the first one would be your HopeTech control station. This one has to go right on top of your docker, so you don't have the interference with that staircase. On the other side, you want to have your HopeTech workshop 2x1. Again, all these can be found at the Red Mile. Now we want to put the all-in-one berth with our bed right on top of this and go with the science lab right there. So this is what the build looks like from the top. And this is what it looks like from the side. Very simple yet efficient design without the use of any staircases. Now we can proceed with some more essential pieces like the grav drive and the flow reactor. We're going to first place the grav drive right behind that 1x1 companionway of Stroud Eklund, then go with a sheared flow reactor. Again, depending on your level, you might not be able to access these space parts. The higher your character level, the better they become. Of course, you're going to need more piloting ranks for them as well, but these are the primary components of the spaceship that basically define its layout. Right now we can proceed with placing those engines, for which I recommend you to go with SA4330 engines. Funny thing is, these are Reactor A engines, which you can make even more powerful if you want to. But the nice thing about this is that you will easily get a mobility of 100 with the appropriate level and also have a much higher top speed in comparison with Reactor C engines. Anyways, right now we also want to place some Stroud Eklund engine mounts. We're going to place those right in front of our engines and cover those up with a Stroud braking engine to make those look a little bit better. Then you want to place a Stroud Cap B right on top of those elements, which basically connect with the HopeTech caps on the sides. Right now you want to take the Stroud Cap A's and place them in the front as well. Let's quickly zoom in on the build. This is what it looks like right now. Pretty aggressive design already, while we can do much better. So we also have this Stroud Engine Bracer A, which we're going to place right on top of the companionway 1x1. This is also where I found a equipment plate, which I can get rid of right now. So we get some credits back, but trust me, you will not need it for this build. Now you want to take a Stroud Cap A, place it right on top of this 2x1 hab right here, take a cowling 1LA, and another Stroud Cap A facing towards the front. We're going to do the same on the other side. So Stroud Cap A, port, cowling 1LA, and the Stroud Cap A facing front. Voila, that's the looks of the spaceship. We have a couple more components. Very important. You want to have some windows so you don't get space sick, let's say. Place them on all the sides of the habs, while of course we also want to make sure that this guy can fly into space by placing some Atlas helium tanks. I did a lot of testing, and trust me, 2 of these H30 Atlas tanks, 800 fuel in total, will allow you to get to any corner of the galaxy, so you don't need to worry about that. I also have 2 Nova wings, one for port and one for starboard, which we're going to place right in front of the docker and the cargo hold, which we also have equipped with the Fulminator 8000 suppressor. So now it looks a little bit like a spaceship light. I think it's pretty cool, but these are amazing for boarding enemy spaceships. And I also have these scan jammers multi-frequency on the side, which I picked up at the Red Mile. Can also do that at the Crimson Fleet Crix HQ, while right now we have some cargo space as well, which is optional, by the way. If you don't need this, if you're using mods for extra cargo, just get rid of that, which we place on the sides of our cockpit right here. So that basically fills in all the gaps. Use this space as efficient as possible with many different components. Well, now the final thing we have is the shield, the Assurance SG 1800 shield generator, which has the highest shield max HP in the game. Some people like to go with this one, which has a lower mass. Well, it doesn't make this ship symmetrical, so I'm not a huge fan of it. And I don't know, man, maximum shield is just awesome. We also have the Tsuki Sasu 4K missile launchers, which I place in the back, exactly right here, in the beginning, basically, of the sides of our spaceship. And also 2 PBO Auto Alpha beams with a pretty nice fire rate range, with a ton of damage for mass destruction, basically, to deal with any spaceship encounter in the game. So we're placing these on the 2 sides with, very important, an equipment plate of Tayo Astroneering. I think these can also be picked up from the Red Mile, while the Nova wings right here definitely came from New Atlantis. So there you have it, the build with over 2000 cargo space, which can easily go to 3k or maybe even 4 or 5k, depending on the crew you place in this build. 30 light years jump range, a top speed of 150 with a ton of damage because of the alpha beams. Again, you can make modifications to your weapon systems, as this one is heavily focused on destroying enemy spaceships. We do have these fulminators, which can be used for boarding purposes. You can also switch some energy to your missile launchers to deal even more damage. While, I don't know, man, I always exclusively focus on the alpha beams. This alone already allows me to obliterate everything in my path. If you want, you could get rid of the rocket launchers, which are optional, and place some cargo space right there. Now, we still have a nice amount of mobility, while it comes with so much more cargo space. Personally, though, I like the spaceship as is. In the end game, you don't need a lot of cargo space, while you definitely want to focus on maximum weapon systems. Again, you definitely want to visit Porrima 3, the Red Mile, and go to Lon Anderson for the majority of the parts which you're going to need for this build. Not only can you find all sorts of cockpits right here, but also cargo, different types of bays, like the Hope for landing bay which we use, structural components like the equipment plate, any type of shield, reactor, Stroud Eklund and HopeTech pieces, as well as the AccuPort landing gear. If you don't care that much about the exact same design, just want to have maximum performance and cargo space, you could alternatively get rid of the engines and replace them with SALs. These are the hands down best engines in the game in terms of thrust per mass. I mean, right now we have only placed 3 and already reached 100 mobility, while with a 4th one, of course, you can crank that up even more. Possibly replace these parts with a lot more cargo space. Now we have almost 90 mobility, 5k cargo. Get rid of this piece, it's already 3.5 and 100, which can definitely maximize the numbers, while I like to keep the build as is. It already comes with maximum crew size, a 30 light years jump range, 92 mobility, 150 top speed, and very important, all the tools for the job to destroy anything in your path. I've had different encounters with multiple spaceships higher level than I absolutely obliterated them because of my high maneuverability, mobility, which is so much fun in space combat. Ladies and gentlemen, a big thanks for watching. That's everything you need to know to build your Rho 4 Ravager from scratch. If you dig my build, please do hit that like button. Spend a lot of time on this one. It's very much appreciated. And share your thoughts about the build in the comments down below. Maybe you found even more improvements, additions to make it even better or look cooler. And yeah, feel free to share your build on our Discord, which you can find in the description as well. I've got plenty more guides and gameplay on the channel. Right now though, it's 4 AM out, so have an amazing day. I'll catch you guys in the next video or live stream. Take care. Peace.